think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything. No, it really has been a tough first year for you, Mr. President. Gas is up, gas is up, gas is up, everything. Rent is up, everything, everything, everything. Gas is up, rent is up, food is up, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
We made it. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Friday. That means it's the Friday free for all. It also means that Sunday will be Sunday Night Live. The Zoo. We'll all be on the Zoo, folks, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Same bat time, same bat channel, same as every week. We'll definitely be back at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific for the Zoo, which means we'll have the club, we'll have YouTube, we'll have Subscribestar. But for now, if you're here live, and you know it, because your questions will come up on the screen. If you're a member of the preparedmind.club, at the club, and subscribestar.com, the Prepared Mind at subscribestar.com. Those are two places you can go to get premium membership so you can arrive and show up Monday through Friday and ask questions, get answers, share comments, thoughts, opinions, and good golly, what a freaking week, huh? Here we are. Tell you what, we're going to do Free for All Friday, which is kind of a shotgun approach, which means I'll do some topics, you do some topics. I don't do a 30-minute monologue and then bring you guys in. Not on Fridays. We take turns, right? That's just how we roll. Now, we got a lot of topics. A lot of topics. Some of them are going to piss you off. Most all of them will confirm that, yes, you need to be prepared. You do. And one particular topic has been the joy of conspiracy theorists all week. Why? Because when it comes to this topic, you'll never, ever, ever, not even me, will never get the truth. Never. And it has to do with the Russian private military contracting group, Wagner. They have lost. That's right, their leader. Good golly. It's a corporation. Doesn't it have a board of directors and a chairman and an chief operating officer and all that, and a CEO? I don't know. I don't know how Russians do their corporations. You know, whether it looks more like a meeting with Spectre, where you can be the leader of the group if you're willing to kill everyone else on the way to get there. Anyways, yeah, Wagner has lost its leader. And they first, folks, get this. Aircraft shot down over Russia, right outside Moscow. And it was owned by Prigozhin, who is the leader of the Wagner group. Well, it turns out it wasn't really shot down over the top of Moscow. It was like 80 miles out. Who knows if that's even the truth? Turns out, well, it wasn't even shot down. Are you kidding me? What? We were told that the Kremlin, that Putin shot it down himself, that he went out with a high-power, laser-guided, super-duper RPG and shot it himself. Well, it's more of a whodunit kind of mystery. Who done it? Now, folks, they're saying it wasn't brought down by a rocket. It was brought down by sabotage. So was Vladimir Putin, who is just, he looks like every other Russian out there. Those Russians, they all look the same. Putin snuck in wearing a pair of coveralls, dressed as a mechanic. He probably had those funny glasses with a big mustache on, walked into Prigozhin's jet and sabotaged it, right? Yeah, fat chance. Maybe, could it be the CIA? After all, the CIA were duped out of what, $6 billion that they have admitted to. No, they didn't give them $6 billion to Prigozhin to conduct a coup d'etat against Putin. That's right, folks. For a measly $6 billion, you too can buy leadership in a country like Russia. And if you believe that, you'll believe the craziest conspiracy theories that this government would have you believe. Now, I threw the CIA into this mix because I believe they're the ones who are most capable of something like this. If they were working with Prigozhin, if they were trying to sucker him in, they probably didn't do it by sending carrier pigeons with notes talking about the money they were going to give him. I'm sure that they had CIA agents inside of Russia who were trying to find and meet with Prigozhin, set up meetings, talk to him. So they had to get pretty close, right? They had to get pretty close. Close enough, dare I say, to maybe set up someone who could sabotage his plane. They're like, well, Prigozhin, you going to take our $6 billion? Well, we've got someone, an airline mechanic of yours. That's right, a mechanic of yours that we can pay a measly $6 million to kill your ass if you don't do as you're told. That sounds more believable than any of this other bullshit. And I just made that crap up off the top of my head. Literally. But it's believable because that's how the CIA operates. They'll buy you off. If you double cross them, they'll pay someone to kill you. See, Prigozhin was worth more alive than dead. But once he proved that he wasn't useful at all, then, folks, for a 1,000th of the price, they could have extinguished him. That is, they gave Prigozhin $6 billion. Now, here's the deal, folks. Let me finish to that. They gave him $6 billion to try to take over Russia. It only cost them $6 million. 1/1000th of the amount to grease him, if that's what they paid a mechanic who they bought to sabotage the craft that they knew he would be on. Well, you know, it's just a theory. But get this. The CIA offered $6 billion to Prigozhin. Do you think they were going to let him walk any way you look at it? By the way, if you want to see how guys like him end up going off, watch the movie November Man. November Man, starring Pierce Brosnan. It's actually a pretty good movie. Has a nice Cold War feel to it. He's a spy who's very upset, and he discovers this rotten old Russian bastard who's in charge of a private military contractor, who ends up getting smoked at the end of the movie because he becomes useless. Well, if Prigozhin was able to take over Russia, imagine this. Him and his troops continued on into Moscow, and there was no attempt by the Kremlin to nuke them or bomb them back out of city limits. So they drove all the way into Moscow, to the Kremlin. They were able to get through the doors, the Wagner group, and they were able to march down the halls, and they went to Putin's desk, and they said, hey, Putin, get the fuck out of that chair. You're no longer in charge. And Prigozhin just sat down in his chair and said, well, I'm sitting in the office. I must be in charge. And all of Russia obeys him. Now, if that were the case, and Prigozhin could have pulled that off, how much better of a position would he be in? $6 billion is nothing compared to controlling all of Mother Russia. You can do that evil bad guy laugh. $6 billion, he's now a nuclear fucking superpower. He can be like Dr. Evil, and he can hold the world hostage with nuclear war missiles. He would then hold the world hostage. He would control the entire economy. Think about it. He would control the entire economy, the military plus the Wagner group, the bureaucracy, agriculture, industry, all means of production, including the drug and prostitution trade that, of course, I'm sure the World Economic Forum would love to get their hands and mitts into. Now, all that aside, if Prigozhin was able to pull all of that off, do you think whether he cooperated or not, the CIA would leave him in place? The man's dastardly. It's fucking dastardly. He's faked his own death in the past. He disappears in pop-ups at different places in the world. Hey, He's got good operational security, good security practices. That's how you stay the leader of the world's nastiest fucking mercenary group. I mean, I guess we could argue that the French Foreign Legion are nastier, or that Blackwater and whatever name they go by now is pretty fucking nasty too. CIA would not want to leave him in place. The $6 billion was to get Putin out and the ability to get their person in the future. You think that even if Prigozhin took control and handed it off to the CIA, whoever their puppet was inside Russia, whoever the fuck their puppet would be, we know it wouldn't be Sergei Lavrov, but whoever their puppet would be, do you think the CIA would leave Prigozhin alive? The $6 billion is not to make Prigozhin a happy little man and to just go away. It would be to get access to the Kremlin. This whole thing stinks of a fantastic movie and a lousy effort by an incompetent and boobistic Pentagon and CIA. Anyways, not a rocket, sabotage, wasn't Putin that did it? I wonder who it could be. Anyways, that's been my pet story all day. And there's been a whole lot more besides going on. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Did you go get that book that I told you can get for free? The book you can get for free. Did you go check it out? So you can help others get prepared? It's basically a nice little manual to help people get started. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy. Okay, we got Mr. Uman in the house. He's got the big blue wrench, and he's also got access to questions, and he'll put you up here. I'll make you famous. Charles Gentry, you're famous now for being on the Prepared Mind channel. He says, there's been so much going on this week, it's enough to cause whiplash. He says, something is going to pop. I agree with you, man. We all feel it. He says, Charles says, just hope we have some warning to brace ourselves. This is going to hurt. I liken us to passengers on, well, a jet plane, much like Prigozhin's jet, only it's larger. It's got the whole world's population in it. Now, when you're in a jet plane, you are not in charge of whether it flies left, right, up, or down. You're not in charge of how fast it flies. You're not even in charge of when you get fucking snacks and drinks, right? We have very little control. We're told to stay in our seats and keep our freaking seatbelts. Now, when something starts going wrong, you can feel it. The plane shakes, wobbles, starts making a funny noise. Sometimes you'll see a man on the wing of the plane. Right? You'll have all that kind of stuff going on. But when we're in big trouble, you can feel it. Plane noses over, people and shit flying all over the place. You don't know whether you've got 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or 5 hours before that plane crashes. You just know there's going to be a big accident and it's probably going to hurt. Well, here we are, man. We can brace yourselves. You can tighten your seatbelt, put your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye. But we don't know. We don't know how hard the impact is going to be. We don't know if we're going to survive it. We don't know if the people around us are going to survive it. It's definitely, folks, though, a feeling, a sensation, right, of dread. For many people, it'll be doom. For some people out here in the world of prepping, they see it as a liberating moment. They think they're going to survive the crash, that there's going to be wreckage strewn all around them, but they're going to be freed from that seat, freed from that seatbelt, and they're free to walk about the countryside. They're no longer held in this government jet that is holding them in place and telling them when they can and can't do things, right? And that's interesting stuff. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Thank you, Charles. Great topic to bring up. And now, my turn. Oh, get your questions down below. Get them into Mr. Uman now. Get your comments in there. Share with others. And of course, share up here. Share that internet address and send it to others in email and text message. Any way you can. They need to wake the hell up. What is going on is astounding. Absolutely astounding. Be sure and hit the thumbs up. Be sure and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Those are your jobs. If you're on YouTube. Everyone else, thank you for supporting the channel as we go through these rough times. Now, back to my topic. Get this, folks. The meat grinding machine of the Russian military has got a new motor and bigger teeth. Russia claims that Ukraine, not Russia, Ukraine is shooting deserters. That's right. People in the Ukraine army are trying to run away. They're trying to abandon their post unlawfully. In the United States military, we call that UA, unauthorized absence. The old term was AWOL, absent without leave. Well, if you're seen running from the battlefield, right, with your sling around your arm, tied to it, but the rifle barrel dragging along the ground because you're running for your fucking life, that's called deserting. And during times of war, it is a capital offense, and there is no courts martial. You just get fucking shot. Russia says they're watching, they're observing, they're reporting Ukraine shooting deserters. And the United States and NATO organizations, the U.S. government, the Washington, D.C. government, the European Union government, the NATO military organization, they're continuing to push and demand that Ukraine continue to take their troops and just drive them right into the Russian meat grinding military machine. The attacks against the Russians are incredible, high casualty attacks. Now, I want you to understand, D-Day, World War II, the beaches off of Normandy were absolutely god-awful killing fields. The Germans had built fortifications. They had massive concrete and steel pillboxes set up and designed by military, I'm going to use the term for practical purposes, military geniuses who knew how to fortify a coastline from invasion, because that's what they suspected. They expected an Allied invasion or re-invasion of Europe through England, and England was being protected by the British Channel. Even though they were getting the shit bombed out of them, they were continuing to fight. So they knew or believed that the biggest attack would be along this fortified beachhead. But still the Americans came. Thousands and thousands and thousands of brave, very brave military men, the army, threw themselves into the teeth of the German socialist war machine. And they overcame them with sheer force, brute numbers. Look up D-Day, folks, and how many men died. The beaches were said to be dyed red, the water with blood from men who were killed, American men. If NATO thinks Ukraine can mount that sort of offense against the Russians, they are sadly mistaken, and they're out of their frickin' minds. Ukraine doesn't have the equipment, and also they don't have the secrecy. You see, despite the fact that Germany was expecting the United States to join the Brits in coming across the channel and taking the beaches in Normandy, they were hoodwinked quite a bit. Right? There were other places that seemed more approachable because of how, I believe it was Rommel, the desert fox, who was taken north and told to be in charge and look out. He felt that there were other places that would be more advantageous for the beach approach. But still, they were ready for him. The Allied forces in World War II did not telegraph and tell the Germans where they'd be coming. In Ukraine, they're fucking telegraphing it. They're saying, not only are we coming, but we're coming right at you. Right? As Russia is calling them, they're intense attacks. Unbelievable. Except Russia has incredible surveillance equipment. satellites. Didn't have satellites in World War II. They barely had fucking radar in World War II. They got radar, satellites, drone capability, high altitude reconnaissance planes. They see what is being lined up. There's no surprises in this full frontal attack that is just slaughtering the Ukraine people. You know what? For generations, Ukraine is going to remember this. Are they going to blame Russia? Are they going to blame Putin? Or are they going to remember Zelensky? Should they remember Zelensky? Are they going to remember NATO and the United States pushing Zelensky, paying Zelensky money, paying the Ukraine government money to do this? Will the Ukraine people forgive their own government? Why should they? Every man, woman, and child in that country knows and has known people that have been just slaughtered already. What's worse, being slaughtered by another government or your own? Well, folks, the people of Ukraine had their asses slaughtered by Stalin. What was it, 70, 80 years ago? So what's the difference? Ukraine will look to the West, and they'll hate Western Europe as much as they hate Russia. What an unforgiving and awful place to be in Ukraine. All right, let's step into your thoughts, your ideas, your topics. What is next, Mr. Ooman? Where are we going next? We got Jane Dixon stepping in the house. And she says, I want to know who profited from the sale of remaining fencing for the border wall. Biden, Ukraine, or China? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know. I know that Biden, on every deal he gets, he wants his 10% because he's the big guy. Now, it's a lot easier to shake down a foreign corporation like, well, China or Ukraine, right? The government running through a shell corporation. Take that money, that contribution to Biden's family, I mean his cartel family, and funnel it through another shell corporation. Move the money around 6, 7 times, put it in one account, take it out in another. P and shell game. We'll never know, Jane, exactly who. We'll know that one company got the contract from the government to sell what? $5 billion, or is it $2 billion worth of fencing for a measly few million? That's quite a profit. How would you like to make profit times 1,000? How would you like to turn $1,000 into 1 million? Well, that's how they did it on this one. Why would Ukraine want border fencing? Well, I don't think they want the fencing. They just want to, someone acquired it, and then what are they going to do with it? China, if I suspected China bought it at such a discount, they would put it on cargo ships, export it from the United States back to China where it could be used or melted down and used at a huge discount to the cost of manufacturing here. Now, the reason this is the most believable, as far as I'm concerned, is because China sends ships over here full of material goods. And then they take those same ships and they drive their happy little asses back to China empty, because the United States does nothing more than export dollars. And they don't need to export paper dollars anymore. They can export electronic dollars. So those ships come home empty. May as well put a bunch of steel on them that was bought at bargain basement discount, dare I say fire sale prices. So that's my best guess, Jane. I've thought about it just a bit, and there you have it. Thank you so much. Whew. Okay. This is a topic I think would be interesting to most people with regard to SHTF. And I'm going to ask you some questions about where you stand. I want you to think about this. Here is the scenario. A suspect is trying to get away from a crime scene, and he's on a scooter, a small motorcycle, and he's dodging everyone. He's going down the street, up onto the sidewalk. He's driving like a crazy bastard trying to get away. And a New York City policeman knocked him off his frickin' motorcycle with a cooler. That's right, a cooler, right? You can call it a barbecue or a picnic cooler or a beer cooler, whatever you want to call it. A big freaking cooler. He smacks the shit out of the dude, knocks him off the motorcycle. Motorcycle goes flying through the crowd, right? Well, turns out the guy he hit and knocked off of his motorcycle was a fleeing drug suspect. Did the cop know that at the time? Or did he just see a guy walking or driving down the street recklessly, driving down the sidewalk recklessly? And he took him out and killed the guy. The motorcycle, like I said, went peeling out off into wherever. Is the cop wrong for doing this? Or is that what the cop should have done? Interestingly, I had an incident in my life that I witnessed that's very similar to this. But I want to go through the exercise with you. The fleeing drug suspect dies because the New York City police officer knocked him off his motorcycle with a cooler. Where do you stand on this? Where do you stand? Do you say, good, the damn criminal deserved to die? Is it is it excessive police force? Would this be a normal procedure for making arrest, using a fucking beer cooler and smacking someone off a moving vehicle? The answer is no. That's not normal procedural activity. Was it effective in stopping this guy who turned out to be a fleeing drug suspect? Well, yeah, it was effective. Was the suspect threatening safety and the lives of others with his reckless driving? The answer is yes. Did the cop risk others being hurt or killed by knocking the man off his speeding motorcycle with a beer cooler? The answer is yes. Could that motorcycle have continued and sped down the street and hit children or nuns or pregnant women or a box full of puppies? Yeah. Completely irresponsible on the part of the cop, because a moving vehicle, it'd be like grabbing someone out of a speeding car and just slamming them on the ground and then not caring about where the fucking car goes. So yeah, the cop risked other people's lives. He's been suspended for this, by the way. Now, under the circumstances, as we understand them, that this was a fleeing drug suspect and he was riding recklessly, was the cop's best move to make using a beer cooler? Well, my answer is yes, if that cooler had Bud Light in it, because it would have disposed of the Bud Light. That would have been a better use of Bud Light than somebody drinking it. But Bud Light jokes aside, what do you think of this? Ooh, man, what's the discussion out there on this fucking topic? Name Rejected says they should have had more coolers during the summer of love. Yeah, I think all the bottles of frozen water that were thrown at cops, I guess the cops would hold them as evidence, and they wouldn't be frozen anymore after a couple hours. And how do you admit that in court? Your Honor, this bottle was colder at the time. I would rather be, of course, hit with a bottle of water than a bottle of, plastic bottle of water than a plastic bottle full of frickin' ice. But yeah, I don't know. This seemed like a normal way to react. You just take a fucking cooler and just smash some dude off a motorcycle. The reason I think this is relevant is if things get nasty, if we get another, as we just discussed, summer of love, will you and I be forgiven by the police if we take care of problem assholes in our world by slamming them in the head with a beer cooler? Right? I was talked to by police and sheriff's deputy back during the summer of love, merely for yelling at some of these freaks who were trying to raise havoc in my little town. That's right. You're not even allowed to yell at these little pussies without somebody crying to the police and sending someone to your door. Now, I did appreciate the visit because I knew both the cops, sheriff's deputy and city police. It was pretty funny, actually. I mean, would have been better for the cop, even if he was off duty. And he may have been off duty. He had a fucking cooler with him. I don't think on-duty cops have beer coolers, do they? Would have been better for him to shoot the guy. Mikey G says, assault cooler with folding handle and concealed wheels. Holy shit. That's good, Mikey. Go ahead and get yourself a cold one. You've earned it this week. That's really good. Yeah. It would have made it worse if it was a black plastic cooler with a folding handle, concealed wheels, right? Oh, whew. And a cup holder on the top and the side. Yeah. Assault mug. You get hit in the head with that. You know, I don't like criminal behavior, but I see it coming from all sides. There seems to be a rather heartlessness. Oh, I want to tell you guys the story. So at the high school I went to and attended in Northern California in the Sierra Nevada foothills, not in a big city, little Sierra Nevada foothills high school. I think I was a sophomore, and a rather, shall we say, cantankerous student decided he was going to bring his KX 125 to school and ride it around campus and jump off of, well, a popular hangout spot, ride down past the art building and jump off of a 12-foot wall and leave the campus. That was his plan. Except as he jumped off of the hangout spot, known as, well, I don't want to say what it's called. That might tell you guys where to look. He jumped off of that. The local city police, of which there were 3, that's how small this town was, decided he was going to lunge out and clothesline the young man off of his motorcycle. Clotheslined him, folks. Took him off by his fucking neck. Motorcycle went spinning. Same story. What's more dangerous, a motorcycle racing around a high school campus or a motorcycle careening without a pilot across a school campus where it could have flipped and taken out kids and fucking killed them? Now, this cop I never liked. I didn't like him before this. I didn't like him during nor after. Right? Because the kid was riding an unlicensed vehicle across a campus. Was he risking people's lives? I don't think so. Could someone have been hurt? Possibly. It's funny how cops will be heroes in some cases. In other cases, like when children are being murdered, they won't do a damn thing. Uvalde, Texas, Parkland, Florida. Ring any bells? Oh, how about old man in Utah, 75-year-old man? This is a problem with law enforcement. They'll take advantage at any time to abuse others and physically harm them. But they won't put themselves at risk because they want to go home for dinner. It's just a very interesting concept. Uman says, yes, the outcome determines the opinion. That's right. That's right. What if? Let me change the outcome, or the story. What if the man on the scooter was having a hard time? The scooter's throttle was stuck in wide open position, and he was just trying to maintain control of this thing and not hit anybody. And he was going down the street and up on sidewalks, avoiding everyone he can, trying to get this thing to stop, but it's just going out of control. People are screaming, jumping out of the way, and the cop sees him and says, I'll help you, and fucking clobbers him in the head with a fucking beer cooler and kills the dude for doing nothing more than trying to pilot the motorcycle safely. See, you can take the story and put a whole new spin on it then. Oh, great, police murder. Thanks for saving everyone from a guy who's trying to save everyone. Right? As it turns out, though, the guy was fleeing a drug deal. He's a drug suspect. So look out. Yeah, the cop has been suspended. Now, the other side of the story is this is New York City, and crime has been rampant. People have been screaming and yelling for police to step up and do something about it. So this fucking cop does. And maybe he was trying to take the guy off the motorcycle in the best way possible. right? By using a beer cooler to plastic, soft beer cooler to smack the dude, right? And show the people, yeah, the police are here trying to help you. And then he gets suspended for it, probably with pay and extra vacation. We've got stupid on steroids. Stupid on steroids. And I'll tell you what, and I'll tell you again, and I've said it in the past, and I'll be saying in the future, I don't want to be a cop. I wouldn't want to be a cop. I wouldn't want to be put in the position that cops are put in. I won't be a cop. I don't envy them their jobs, and I don't lust after the power that they like to use. It's a weird appeal that police have to that line of work. You know, to have a badge and a gun. You know, I mean, it's its own thing. All right, that was my turn. That was my topic. All right, Mr. Ooman, where do we want to go next? I hope we've got some more good stuff out there. Name redacted says Archie Bunker from All in the Family. That was an old TV show. Asked the question, would you feel better if he was stabbed? I don't know if I would feel better if he was stabbed, but I know that the dead guy would probably feel better if he was alive, but he certainly would be feeling some pain at the same time. Dead men tell no tales. Dead men feel no pain once they're dead. Interesting comment. Thank you much. Mr. Ooman, unless you got a really good one on, we can always come back to the cop beer cooler law enforcement technique question if somebody else has an opinion. What is another topic we've got out there, though? Okay, Ooman says, on the radio, they said corn sweating when cornfields give off large amounts of humidity. Corn sweating is contributing to ... wait for it. Global warming. First the cows and now the corn plants. Now, of course, folks, we eat corn, but understand that the corn cob or husk, all of the corn shafts are ground up into meal for the cows to eat. So we get the corn kernels and they get the rest of the corn plant. So yeah, first the cows are bad. Cows are causing greenhouse gas. Cows are farting methane out there. And now the corn plants, how dare those plants sweat? So Ooman says, the only solution I see is get rid of the useless eaters. Are cows useless eaters? Let me remind you of this. Before they put all that asphalt on the roads and built all those houses, the Midwest were giant plains covered in grasses, moist, wet grasses, sweating all over everything. Corn is not the only sweating plant, by the way. And at that time, folks, there were millions of wild bison, buffaloes, herds and herds of them, thousands and thousands at a time, running across the plains, trampling those poor grasses into sod, and eating and doing a lot of farting. Where's the complaints throughout history of this same exact thing going on? Sweaty plants, stinking cows. Ooman said humans are the useless eaters they refer to. Next step in pushing for global depopulation? Oh, it's just another excuse. Now, what gets me is understand this, folks. They want to feed us what? They want us, instead of eating meat, they want us to eat plant meal. That is plants that they grow and grind up, mix with some fake cow blood that they have yeast make. It's yeast vomit, yeast puke, so that they can mix it with their soybean meal and then tell us it's impossible meat. I'll fucking pass. Why should I pay a human to harvest a plant and then try and convert it into something palatable when I can have a cow do it for me? It converts the plant for me through natural processes. Again, If eating plants is so freaking good for me, why do they want to make it taste like meat? Well, because we need meat, folks. They keep fucking forgetting that as omnivores, the human body is designed to deal with plant carbohydrates and proteins and beef, cow, chicken, duck, bird, deer, meat, natural meat, animal protein, and fats. That's what we need in our diet. Plant proteins are not the same as animal proteins. And there's not one type of protein. There's lots of different protein types within an animal and within the wild kingdom. It is through a variety of products that we get what we need. This idea, I fucking hate it when I go to a restaurant and they go, what kind of protein would you like with that? I'm like, I don't want any fucking protein. I would like some chicken on my Chinese chicken salad. Right? I want beef. I want some freaking mahi on my salad. I don't want protein. I hate that shit. What kind of protein would you like? No, I want some dead animal flesh, please. I'm a human being and I eat animals and fish and flying things. Whew. Oh, by the way, it's been a long week and I'm pretty fucking tired. See what we're contending with? A bunch of limp-wristed, PC, skinny jeans wearing sissies who don't like looking at life realistically. I don't want to be the gender I was born with. I don't want to eat animals. I'm going to call it protein and feel better about myself. Fucking weenies. All right. Fucking jackasses. Folks, stupid is on parade. It's now happening. I was driving through a parking lot, and I looked over at I don't want to mention the fast food chain, and the person in the window at the restaurant was wearing a mask. I've seen people wearing masks again, and we were laughing about it and discussing it at an office I went to. But the stupid is on parade. They are stealth. It is a stealth move to reintroduce masks, mask restrictions, mask requirements, mask lockdowns. In South Texas, a school district has now done what? They've now closed the school because of an uptick in COVID cases. That's right, folks. A couple of cerveza bug cases have come in, so we're going to close down the whole fucking school because we can't have anyone getting sick. Hey, haven't they fixed the Jim Jones juice and the juice boosters yet? Have they made them effective yet as much as they've made them safe? Unfucking believable. These people are that stupid. It used to be when your kid was sick. No. When you heard about a sick kid in the neighborhood, mumps, measles, whatever the thing was, you would send your kid over there to get it. Get it, get over it, done. You now have natural immunity. So everybody knows everybody has gotten it. Now, this was said to me by a kind person today. I really feel bad for people with weakened immune systems, but colds are colds, flus are flus, and we're supposed to get them. And I thought that was an interesting comment. I feel bad for people with weak immune systems. And then I was like, I do not. I do not have sympathy for people with weak immune systems who have made their immune systems weak by poisoning themselves repeatedly with Jim Jones juice. I don't feel sorry for them. They're getting exactly what they asked for. Now, people who have not taken the Jim Jones juice and have weakened immune systems, I feel bad for. I have empathy for them. But all of these liberals out here, what are they doing to themselves, folks? They're weakening their own immune systems. They're compromising their reproductive ability. They're subjecting their own children to the most awful, cruel education, which is critical race theory and the LGBTQ propaganda. They're taking themselves out of the gene pool. Fuck them. They're done. And what I feel bad about is that kids, innocent children, are being led to slaughter by their own parents. By their own parents. You bet. Now, this is interesting here. In Maryland, parents have been fighting back against the LGBTQ curriculum. But don't worry, a judge has come along to fix everything. That's right, a Biden-appointed judge has told parents, hey, you can't opt out. Your children are not allowed to get away from the LGBTQ curriculum. You don't have any rights, parents. Well, I tell you what I would say to that judge and that school district is fuck you. Fuck them, fuck the judge, fuck public schools. Why aren't people homeschooling their children? Why aren't they creating their own school networks, which they have a right to do? The law says children will receive an education. On that alone, there should be lawsuits against the schools because what they're getting is no longer an education. They are not getting a curriculum in the sense that it's a education. They're getting a curriculum of propaganda and diabolical indoctrination, because that's what it is. Children going to school and being told, well, you should go have some anal sex. Try it out. You'll like it. You should cut your nuts off. You should cut your tits off. You should take drugs that fuck your brain and your body up. If that is not diabolical, I don't know what is. You should go perform some pole dancing as a drag queen for your teachers. But don't worry, we'll protect you. We won't let anyone know that you're doing that or that you want to transition into something you were never meant to be. If you were meant to be a girl and you got a penis, you were not meant to be a girl. If you're a girl and you were meant to be a boy, you would have a penis. These people that say, I was never meant to be a man. Right? Are you out of your fucking minds? And what's that thing between your legs, you dickhead? Right? That's the deal. Right? You can't say I wasn't meant to be. It is a fantasy. It is an intellectual foible for someone to go, I wonder what it's like to be a girl. And now that they have drugs and surgeries, I'm going to give it a shot. I think a foible is actually a very nice word about it. I really do. It doesn't take a technical and sociologically fastidious mind to see what the hell is going on today. It's right in our faces and it's plain to see. This is pure diabolical indoctrination and destructive of entire generations of human beings. Population reduction, ding, accomplished. The next couple of generations are going to be a fucking mess. All right. Everything's fine, though. I've lived my life. Thank you very much. I don't plan on dying in a way that is not agreeable to me. But all these people that have just jacked their bodies and brains up with these drugs, they're cooked. They're going to live a life of pain, misery, and psychological, I'm going to use the word disappointment and be nice about it. All right. I'm having fun with this today. Village Idiot steps up and says, you are the first responder always. Cops enforce the peace, document the evidence, and provide witness in court. Protect yourself always. That is sound advice. You are the first responder in your life always. By not having a gun, you have made yourself, how do I put this? I want to be nice about it. I don't want you to think that I think you're a bad person. What I want you to know and understand is that you've done yourself and others a disservice by not having a gun. And if you're physically capable, right, you can do more things than people who are not physically capable. A gun is a great equalizer in responding to violence. Now, being prepared to deal in a situation with what's going on, you're always the first responder. It's great. It's a great thought. I appreciate you sharing that, Village Idiot. Protect yourself always. I think that's sound advice. Sound advice. All right. Here's another topic that's come up. Remember Hunter Biden, the guy that was the field hand for Joe Biden? Right. He was the go out there and go seal that deal up there, Junior. Whoa, what was that? Got some flickering going on. Hunter was out there being Joe Biden's little bitch. Well, Nancy Mace, Representative Nancy Mace, Republican Representative Nancy Mace says that Joe Biden is the most corrupt president in history. That he took more than $50 million. It's staggeringly high. She said he definitely did that. Well, if he definitely did that, why isn't Nancy, Representative Mace, why isn't she screaming for impeachment and making a scene and demanding other Republicans and even Democrats impeach this son of a bitch? Tyrants cannot be allowed to sit in office ever, even if they're now lame duck. Ever. You don't allow it. Why? I mean, the fact that she said the words, who gives a fuck anymore if she's not going to do anything about it? Why isn't she screaming for impeachment? Why isn't every Republican down there at Speaker of the House, do nothing McCarthy's office, just yelling in his face, impeach the son of a bitch? How can she say he's definitely this guy that took over $50 million, a staggeringly high amount, and not do anything about it other than sit there on the news and go, well, you know, he definitely did it. You're the one with power, bitch. Do something. You're one of the votes that could get the bastard out of office. Do it. We the people don't. We support impeachment of any criminal in office, regardless of political party, age, gender, affiliation with any group, any race, any religion. Who gives a shit? Any age. Get them the hell out of there. It's unbelievable how they reported on the news that, well, I'm an authority figure and I've told you what's going on. Now you can do something about it. No, it's your job. You do it. Every last one of these bastards in office is no more than that if they're not screaming mad, red in the face from yelling about it. Beads of sweat busting out of their head like they're that dude that sings Richmond, north of Richmond. That dude belts that shit out and people are waking up. But Representative Nancy Mace just wants to go, oh, you know, he's definitely took more than $50 million. Staggeringly high, don't you know? Yeah, we know. Do something about it. Free for all Friday. Here we are. All right, Mr. Who-Man, we're down to the last, well, under 10 minutes. What do we want to talk about? Who's the next? What do we got? I don't know. Wait a second here. Wait, I may have a message here on the back channel. Okay, there we are. We'll take care of you in a minute. I want to go back to one of the articles I started off with. The Wagner group, right? Mr. Prigozhin. Not only was he the leader of Wagner, he's the founder. He started this private military contracting institution, mercenary, a gun for hire. Not only did he start it, right, and then led it, Putin says, hey, this is Putin's quote, he made serious mistakes in his life. Don't we all? A lot of people, the commentary I read on that was, yeah, Putin's criticizing this guy. And then they read into it and I see that's why Putin rubbed him out, because he made a mistake. And that mistake was pissing Putin off. Look out, you piss off that Russian bear, he'll kill you, right? That's the focus. I'm going to tell you what, that's the focus they want us to look at. That's what Putin wants us to look at. That's what Putin wants us to think about. That he made some serious mistakes in his life. You read into that whatever the hell you want, right? Putin says, hey, he made some serious mistakes in life, huh? Now he's dead. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. This sneaky old bastard did not get into this position of power and wealth and control by being dumb. There's no way in hell. I think Prigozhin is alive and well, folks. He may have told Putin, dude, I'm checking out. I'm going to go do some stuff. Or he could have told Putin, man, I'm having the time of my fucking life. I'm dicking with the CIA. I'm fucking with that little bastard in Ukraine. I'm thumbing my nose at NATO and all these Russian powers. I'm kicking the ever-loving shit out of their people. I'm having the time of my life as a fucking military mercenary. I'm going to do some more. I'm going to go into hiding, pop up somewhere else and start killing people. Because that's what I do. My name is Prigozhin, and I'm the leader of the Wagner group. And Putin's like, okay, I'll say some shit that'll make people wonder what's going on. 3, 2, 1. Yes, he's made some serious mistakes in his life, huh? You know what I appreciate about Putin is he doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak English. Can he speak English? I don't fucking know. Does he speak English? I've never heard him. Why should he? I don't think Putin appreciates. Oh, hold on to that thought, Mr. Uman. Hold on to that thought, brother. I think Putin appreciates his culture, his country, his language, his history, his traditions. And he holds them at high value. Why should he learn English? It's become the bastardized language of the West, where they tell their kids to cut their nutsacks off, where the military castrates itself as a matter of ritual. And speaking of ritual, the people there kill their babies. And they call it satanic ritual that they have a right to do. The West has shown itself, not me and you, not all of us, but a large percentage of it is evil. And the government not only allows it, but they fucking support it. No wonder Putin's like, you know what? I don't need to learn English. All right, now let's go back. I got to see what you got, man. I got to know. Uman says, there were 2 planes. Why not put your name on one manifest and just get on the other plane? Classic sleight of hand. That's right. There's an airplane hangar. And inside of it is not 2 planes, but 6 planes. And he could put his name on the manifest of one, have a pilot roll out there, fly that plane up in the air. I mean, I've seen enough James Bond movies to know that the pilot can put on one of those parachutes and jump right the fuck out. He could set a plane up for that to happen. And then detonate the frickin' thing, plane blows up, crashes in the ground. News at 11, right? The world's foremost terrorist leader of the Wagner group is now dead. Him and his other top generals and whatever, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, bait and switch, sleight of hand, pea and shell game. If Prigozhin was even in that airport, even in that hangar, you think a man like that would make his whereabouts known to people beforehand? He's like, okay, I just want the world to know, because everyone hates me, that I'm going to be going to the, name your fucking airport, St. Petersburg International Airport, hangar 6, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to come out in a little jet with the tail numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he's not going to tell anyone any of that stuff. If you had power, folks, imagine this. If you had, I don't know, $6 billion, if you had $1 billion, if you had $10 million, you could fake your death. After moving your money around the world, you've paid your taxes, you're not doing anything illegal, you're just going to hide it somewhere else. Fake your own death. Just dis-a-fucking-peer and go do your own thing. If you and me could figure that kind of stuff out, don't you think someone whose main goal in life is killing other people for money, don't you think he's probably got a pretty good plan and he understands how to get around? Yeah, exactly. 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 Oh, by the way, as we close out this Free for All Friday, I just want you to know, and we will be coming back Sunday Night Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means 3 p.m. West Coast. And if you're in the middle of the country, it's those other numbers. I'll see you Sunday. But before we part here, as the sun sets in the west, I sit in this chair right here, and I tell you that the officer, the Capitol Hill police officer, the secret police officer, the Secret Service police officer, the congressional police officer, whatever the fuck you want to call him, Officer Mike Byrd, the guy who killed in cold blood Ashley Babbitt on January 6th. He has now been promoted to captain. That's right, he's now a captain. That's how tyranny works, folks. You promote those that serve the master. And understand, folks, that Mike Byrd and other people of his ilk, they hate us. And his badge hates us. You may as well wear a red coat instead of a business suit, folks. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi. Godspeed.